Sangye Chelanzoye Sonamla Sanjo Bardo Dane Jaso Age Jeso Jebbe Sonam Je Dola Venje Sanje Rovaraish Sanje Jelanzo Je Sonamla Sanjo Bardo Dane Jaso Age Jeso Jebbe Sonam Je Dola Venje Sanje Sanje Jelanzo Je Sonamla Sanjo Bardo Dane Jaso Age Jeso Jebbe Sonam Je Dola Venje Sanje Rovaraish. From now until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. And by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, may I attain this for the benefit of all sentient beings.
Dakasampagi Ndrogyanala Nengacheji, Mongurdenga, Dakelingidu, the Indigala, Mongurdenga, any number sangi to the mind. Marvez Kajitina, Tuajitanche, any telelenchane. Any Mangurdang Kilimbi, Tati, Jemigivare, Ki, Chagajin and Givamete, Tajiramanchi Givamere, the Indigala, Jemigida Kelimbar Modo, Tajiramanchi Givamete, Telimba Mare, the Indigala, Mangurdang number Mangumares, Chivari, for the tea, Nengachi, tea, Sevukan Wachi, teach Chichavare. Tinita Teoni Jeramai Singitri, what a Jerama sing the Kandaji Huru, what a Jeramai sing Rarimi de Chitan the Lutan de Bay, Temingi to the Mawas, Misuka, the Tiba members of Sunday. De Teotela, Kachichetamoi, Cheramoi Yavadri, Kachicheramo, Numa, Yuki Cheramas, the Nindashe Yungri, what a ticket Kasanchimbari. Tene jiban dosu la jin dosu lamgin dosu dribin dosu jene jin dosu la kani shisha thamji jingana duya da yang jara mai tumu mai bacha de yore padati dos chiksan hote portu chimares.
Last Sunday, the important points that we covered were the first one was the argument about the sub-school of Great Exposition School, saying that they also accept self a person, so and therefore want this school be non-Buddhist. So here the answer is on page 177. There is no such fallacy, says that, because the self that is asserted by this school is different from the self that is asserted by the non-Buddhist school, and this self here is self, sufficient, substantially existent self, not the self, selflessness from the four seals, which is permanent, unitary, independent. And then we went through the definition of the Great Exposition School. A person propounding lesser vehicle tenets who does not accept self-cognizing consciousness and who asserts external object as being truly established, and etymology, why it's page 180. The reason reason for calling the master was Sumitra, a proponent of great exposition, because he propounds tenets following the great detailed exposition, and because he propounds that the 3 times past, present, and future are particulars of substantial entities. And also another point was assertion regarding the basis. Here the regarding objection. The system that all objects are included within 5 basic categories. That's on page 181. So this is also unique interpretation of this school.
시제탐지 징에나네 당보데 나와주기 지세다 주드가 시에거래 주데라 치주다나주니 시에거래 치주지들라 주김제 나이김제 뒤김제 레김제 리제김제다 nga요래 인디가라 대주데라 아니 주수 미시기 존자다 주기제 층이들라 주기 층이다 주기제스 다 주기제 층이들라 미시기 존자스 미시기 존자 주기제 층이래 왔다텔라 입다 가도 니제 입텔라 가도텔라 자외 가도데 연락 가도 니제 자외 가도데 이제 연락 가도 겠지 이데게 중이지 중이가라 입주겠지네 주니 넘버 니슈도 수작 거래스
그래서 신설을
되는 그선 뭐야 말해 나와서 기스 시저는 자셔라고 그래서 단디는 세부터 얘기만 레세드네 얘기는 또
수 축지열을 런티지나
주 니슈레 주 축지자는 이거 말아 주 니슈레 당보 주들 치주나서 니지로와 주 계제의 중인데 주남니 당스 주 코랑라 니여레스 이제 자외치 되리 주남니 당스 주들 치주다나서 니지 치주들라 주 계제 자이 계제 디 계제 레 계제 레지 계제 나지 대나는 주 계제들라 니슈여레 차 주기 니슈데 자외 가도시 연락 가도시 게 중이 갈라 입주게 니슈다바 주남니다 남니슈스 남니슈데 데리 로니 남투 디남지 레자 주제 다니도스 로 넘버 2 요레스 레자 주지 요레스 언제든 주지세야 레지 주지 될랍샤인데
the insert page.
어떻게 루스지미 요레스 디나라 미두스 손셔나 되게
So Grisha mentioned about the form. The form is
some months down mato dina main de mamboji loto labu warwa ni kana so semna tos khabochi de some months tangu ai chago res
that to think deeper, because Geshe-la will in between he will say something that is related but not covered in the text. You mentioned about the form, and the form, the page 181, the forms are of 11 types. This is in the note, it's not the translation. So the 5 sense objects, the 5 sense powers, and
chizuga nazuga yores jures ru korangla chizu de la zu keche tampore de zu kemche dai kemche ti kemche re kemche reje kemche nga ja gres keche ngare ni zu tambo zu keche korangla da ni shu che gore
and the total, the form itself has 20 forms. In your book, it only says 11 types. So and the form, when you categorize beginning with the external, 5 internal, 5 external, and for the 5 external, 치수가 계정하더래.
네, 계정하더래.
I'm looking at the book whether it has sense object, five sense power. So chukji yorelasha and the sense object, five sense powers. Wangbongada the lomodon. Five sense object. Tangbongadilas katoda sukche. Dache, Tiche, Roche, Rechache.
What the better committee?
Five cents, any one bong at Shisha, make one bonayambo.
Then no zoom at one bong at it, Becca, Zukim Jamari.
Didn't the deal all do the Shishatam Jeshingana do gores, and the Shinga is Sukche, now so the source and Simpson Jung Shishla. And the water on the guitar, the soup, the any chukchi, your lantimachis.
Kazutella,
Cherama Lulagasar.
Ale Zuden, Zatanatus, Savoyaris.
So they said the form, has 20, classification, and that is from the text Abhidharma Kosh. And there are 20. So when we categorize 20, chisunga the nasunga lembe su.
Chisunga zukorana chisunga the nasunga che. The chisunga the zukiche, daikenje, tikenje. And the zukiche della tangi chucheunga. Zunichi zukiche la ipta kato niche. Iptela any izukiche. Kato della zawe kato jita yanla kato kechi junichi. Jungiga lai.
Five external, five internal form, and then five external. Under the five external comes the five. I think it's sources of perception, beginning with the. Keche del suk
keche della kato de image.
And this sources of perception is further categorized into root color and subsidiary colors. For the root colors there are four. I don't think it's in here. Four root colors and then 8 subsidiary colors. Total here, 12. And on top of this, we have to add 8, shape. I think that's
shapes and figure. Right? Those chini Zuni Shures. And Zunamito Namishon, Danin Namge. And in Datela, Danin Zunamita Namshin, Danin Namge, don't know. Datela, and Juarcube Kasa. Datela, any Jijikinda, Jijikinda Maimba Nietzsche. Tell us some general temper that I made them better. Nini chene, those chene, get chigor. Yeah, Simjan Temeta, the Metameta, Simjan Temeta, the Lanya Mini, Simjan Metameta, the Lanya Mini, those chigor.
Jujig done and dot and I in the water.
Kibil checking it on that, the leisure chicken does. And it that didn't radicus, you'll chena ready. Zuski will change the Jikin Tashawa.
Simja the Tim than the Kara.
Simjal and Tim Midden Sidigala Simjing Mani Tumba the Matamani Gura. Simjin Tim Dadela, Inta Jay in the Yungura. Simjal Midden Dadela, he would tell me that Bendada in Chundata to Yungura.
So when we look at the from the Abhidharma Kosh, basically the form has 20 types or 20 classifications. Then sound is categorized into two kind of two sets. The first one has further two. You mentioned this before. A sound that with the meaning. Basically sound made from you can say the verbal sound. With meaning, without meaning, and then that is the first two sets. Then there is another two sets. That is the sound made intentionally. Simje to temba, simje
le temba, simje ngani ma tembi jujigi jujaye yose gintaji ta mende gintaji.
The second one is a sound made from sentient beings, and it is categorized with meaning and also kind of without meaning. And then with meaning and without meaning, both are further categorized into pleasurable sound and non-pleasurable sound.
Watateso jikres. Zonam ni nam ndani namba yedi. Roni nam tuusi. Rodela tuure. Ta. Rodute ngarwa kirwa kawa tsawa lensa wata tuusi de. Rona batu chagore. Tadus chene zutela ote zutela da tendeji da chizu tesu chasanji le yongore. Nangzu de nangu wangpo nga yongore. Wangpo nga de mi wangzo le jina mi shiki tenche nge zu inde ga ta tendeji chao kore. Tendeji de gala wangpo nga ga sulchen chade yore.
And the taste is further categorized into 6. I'm looking whether this is in your notes or not. Ngarwa chi kyuwa chi tsawa chi en kare.
Ngarwa kyuwa kawa tsawa len tsawa petsata suserose.
Ngati dictionary tu ngatu. Excuse me, I'm going to get the dictionary so they'll be easier. Can't get all words.
Or number 2 tine ikir ra. Re hote re. Dik ja shate na. Ale. What you said? It's okay.
Six types of taste. The first one is sweet, second is sour, third is bitter, fourth is astringent, fifth is hot or burning, sixth is salty. So these are the 6 tastes.
Sabe rodu teteres. Tangazu chobatandu gala jaze rogyas mide. Rodi chena rogyas gele chaye yoris.
So these are the what we called 6 root taste, and which is used when we do our offering. And these 6 tastes are further. So in the scripture it says, a meal with 108 different types of taste. So it can further categorize into 108 different types of taste.
Dona yuna kiranzongi dos lagos. Rogyatsa geti chayate, khal kabuke mare. Zawe rodu dela, ngarwa koranla, ngarwe kiwa, ngarwe kawazde, dus chine, tu sum sotu chaye, chigres.
Ngarwa dili tangi tu.
Ngarwa koranla, rod, ngarwe kiwa, ngarwe kawa, ngarwe sawa, ngarwe len sawa zde tu che. Ani ngarwa, kirwa dela, kirwe ngarwa, kirwe kawa, kirwe sawa, kirwe len sawa zde. Dus tu jati gala, tu sum sotu roa. Sumsutu ba sumrita. Sumsutu bachi, Lucy le Pemba sumsutu, Ishi le Pemba sumsutu, Lucy Shingiga Tumola Pemba sumsutu, the China, Rose, he gets a get those chilies.
Pemba,
No, Pemba. Kazani Lucilla, nobody Lucilla Pengora, Lucy the Ishila.
Actually, although this sounds,
The Queen each to the Trupusati or Tinupes and that's a lumare.
This sounds many, but if you look at how these are categorized 108, it's not that kind of complicated, or these 6 are the base, as said before: sweet, sour, bitter, astringent, hot and burning, and salty. So the first one, each one is further categorized into 666. And those 6 were actually the same list as here. Says, sweet of sweet, sweet of sour, sweet of bitter, sweet of astringent, And when you do that, the total 6 by 6 is 36. And then 36.
Lucy Konala Pepper Sumsuru?
Domna any Sumsuru Sum Domna Dichagdo.
Tata Chadar can't take it.
Sumda.
Lucy Konala Pepper Sumsuru, Ishi Kambala Pemba Sumsuru, Lucy Ishiniga Tumon Pemba Sumsuru.
So these 36 sets, is then kind of grouped into 3, 36, which is beneficial or helpful for the only physical, consciousness or physical level, and then second is for the mental state, and then third is for both. So 36, 3, and then total is 108. And this actually, if you want to look, you can look into the document of Kunchen Jameshapa. Kunchen Jameshapa is the author, and you can find in his more detail about this categorization of taste. You will find in that text.
Mazo Chubatang Gala Tontate, that what is it Tontate, Yada Yes Yade, what that is Tontate.
So when we recite and do the offering, made 108 taste refers to the list that we have here.
Ta Roninam Rutinum Jis. Tita and it Jajungiti the Lenki Kitini, Jajungitilla. Jimbi Jarjungitita, Mijimbi Jarjungitinici, Lenki Gitita, Jimbi Lenkitita, Mijimbi Lenkitini, those cigarettes. And it took out chick Lenki Gitis the Gala is that's Andengititabu, one Lenki Tire, Jimbi Lenki Tire. Hope Pagani, Koran to Zamini, Tida and Tagarang to Mother, Jenda Lake of Shagamare. That Tenri into Gala, any Jarjungiti city, Timambo Vish, the Nizweshawa, Timandash Veshavetan, Jarjungiti city, to the Tinakachiris.
Caragos will hand you Jarjunchi.
Jarjungiti than Lenki Tiniche, Jarjungiti Lani, Jimbi Jarjungiti, the Mijimbi Jarjungiti Niche, Lenki Tila, Jimbi Lenki, the Mijimbi Lenki Tini.
Taste. Taste is categorized into 4. And I'm sorry, smell. The first one is innate, smell. Second is xiaozhong.
xiaozhong.
The second is more kind of, I should say, kind of artificial. The first one, innate, refers to the smell of like sandalwood, nice smell, and the smell comes with the wood. The second one is kind of artificially created, although it is not the natural. And then each one is categorized into good smell and bad smell, basically, pleasurable or non-pleasurable.
Raja Juji la Raja Juji Teta, Karasuga, Jorki Raja Jiji, Jungu Dungala Jujigana, Dungala Jigana Jujiranwa.
Dungalishi.
Oh, what a Jujo, the Raja Juji said. Juade, Jorki Raja, said a Chuja, Merija, Lungrija, Jajita, Jungu Raja. Then Jungu Maybe rejected Chiwa Yama Tampa Table combat doing to Reja doing the Dusia, Jungu Maybe John Cuba Maybe Richard and the autos. What?
The next is the objects of touch, tangibility, 12. First one is, the first four are sort of based on four elements: earth, water, fire, and wind. Then, smoothness. Number 5, 6 is roughness. Number 7 is heaviness. 8 is lightness. Number 9 is hunger. Number 10, thirst. Number 11, coldness. So these are the 11 objects of touch, or 11 tangible objects.
What are the Ta Nanzu Villa rounded Tagi Nanzu Sidigala, Wampungade, Miwani Tambe, Luangport, Wampungatela, Nangizu Sigore. Kibushigi Divizu. Ta Wampungade. Shibi Dubate Chadiorwa. Chizu Zidgale Shibi Modivisudre.
So here when we say internal and external, it refers to the external not associated with the consciousness. The internal associated or related with the consciousness. The 5 internal, maybe I should say the sense, so these are, in your notes, 5 sense powers, 5 sense organ, eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body.
Ta Wambunga the Tutade, Jena Pet Tuma Mamada, Sundia, Yata, Pena Petus of the Mod Ninja, the Gurella Kalakawa, Yeta, Jawang Chiputi, Jesegana, Zeni Sona Jinji. Tag me pass on the chain. That means tag me pass on the chain. A chase and a bushie lagiore. Any road the Kazuchi Chilla, Coragabina, Leche, Coragana, the Lucille Pempo Penchayor. Any road the Malde de Katutana, rode the Nalon Rondorete, Rogue New Body, Lucille Pencomare. In the Indicala, one post chin, one body, Chewande. Di tane dos chene te mi paso de chinde dia horseshoes in a chilagdo what's on here.
And Guru said, if you look into the text Abhidharma Kosh, the text kind of deals detail with the 5 sense organ, and he said it might not be comfortable with the translation, but he will just mention one. For example, taste, the tongue. The tongue senses, sense of the tongue is basically shape is like a horseshoe, so it is at the kind of not at the center, but the side of the tongue, and the more you chew and use your tongue when you eat, the better it would be for your body. In kind of the taste will be more beneficial, and as compared to you just gulp down without any chewing or using your tongue when you are eating. So this is just one example.
Tatagi rogyatagi yore siyatedang dandar rogil chigi mipegangla chewangala katsuji rogu nipadan rona penchiche yore siyedin totukudowa. Karzana katsu deba ina rogu nipade wangbola nyongtukurawa. Dagi denangla lushile pemba, ishile pemba, lushinichi igal pemba sidigala ko wangbola manyona lushile penyayo mare wang보로 망연은 이실에 삼지 파기 배야기 겐테한테 가보지 그래요. 인류가라 즉 야가르도 자지 통나 제가라 꼬라게 레츠진 통두 즉 인류 왕배가라 파기 뉴바데 되어 라고 왔대. 오늘 개침버려도 와. 어디 인류가라 가라 뉴뉴지잖아 파기 레지 도스지베나 루일라 뉴바데 테트고야다 세보시보시래.
And so when you look at the 108 different types of taste, the more you use your for example like tongue, when you eat food, use your physical organ to sort of it will be more beneficial, as said before, and then the beneficial as we categorize, physical, beneficial, mental, and both. So, the more you kind of, for example, if you look at the, Indian when they, drink a tea, they sometimes, you'll see trying to kind of, have a kind of more taste by using their tongue, sort of chewing. It does, so there is a reason for that, why they kind of even use tongue to kind of when they drink a tea.
Oda dusjene, chatta nawazugi ji seade tendijire, oda tiji. Ta zo semgi ji sedigala, semdala, zo sem nga, zo sem chu, ta zo sem chu re. Dede gangla simjung ngachungaji kundi jena, zwe jena jibjirgu, oda tendigi keprayores.
And so what we mentioned before was about the appearing forms on page 181, about the which is one of the 5 basic categories. The second is the main mind. The main mind so so the for the main minds, the mind here, there are 6 main minds, or 6 major minds, beginning with the eye consciousness, eye, ear, nose, ear, and the body. And for the subsidiary or mental factors, there are 51 according to the Abhidharma Kosh, treatise of knowledge. But according to the another text, compendium of knowledge, according to that text, there are 49 mental factors. Accompanying mental factors. It's the other way, in the Abhidharma Kosh, treatise of knowledge 49, and this text is by Aryadeva, Vasubandhu, treatise of knowledge. And then in the other text, compendium of knowledge by Asanga, accompanying mental factors. There are 51.
어디 주구주구 떠떠서 용그레스. 달 덴바 마이면 니체 기지들라 계산 주인 바양. 내민두제 고공아서 뭐보다 주시바 내민두제 숨여레스 될라디가라. 아니 내민두제 시디가라. 소다 덴베 내민두제 될라. 구조 개비아 예체디 차산타 소다 덴베 내민두제레. 소다 멘덴베 내민두제 시디가라. 다티 상기 캐치 시가르지나 아니 데이터기 캐치 미다바 생인 다메다 생인 어다 캐치 되게 소다 멘덴베인데 데민디제티 따다 어다 데마마이 멘디제기 지세데 어다 때저 주요 거레스.
And then third here is compositional factors not associated in the brackets is with either minds or mental factors. So this is one category. We mentioned this before. Generally, things and object, are categorized into three big groups: form, and then second is consciousness, and third is this one, compositional factors not associated. And this one is categorized into two. The one is the Tibetan word sok that we discussed last is translated as a life force. So non-compositional factors not associated, with the life force, and then here this life force refers basically to the animate, things, and then second one is inanimate. So it's categorized into with life force and without life force.
어떤 니마지기 지스디가라 다 딱바 다 딜라 니마지기 지스디가라 니마지기 남카라 소바 어다 티기 분빌 도발로 소바 어다 티기 리디간가 니마지기 지난도 저 다음에 빠싱인데도 아니 니마지기 지난도 그래스.
From the five basic categories, the last one is uncompounded phenomena. Uncompounded phenomena. If you can look at the note underneath this in Tibetan words and Sanskrit too much. Uncompounded under the uncompounded phenomena, phenomena such as sky or space. Then permanency, selflessness, and these comes under the uncompounded phenomena.
다 징어부터다 경어본도 돼서 다 시제탐지 징어는 누구리 징어부 뭐보레스 라브다 지라마위 룰라 다바는 뭐부터 지소시 시제는 뭐부터 지리 어디 던지니바 뭐베칭이 요바 시장 뭐보는 던지 다티 지리가라 두다 공마 너데바 인제긴 도줄다는 딘도줄 개버팅 차버 너데바 인체이 아니 야 시제 뭐보다 가르사 시제랑 뭐보든지도 누구 말해 단데 니는 시제랑 뭐보든지도 누구 말해 니마지기시는 따뱅 뭐보다 주시발다민디제숨 미다뱅 뭐본도 도스 뭐보다라 따뱅 뭐보다 미다뱅 뭐보스 나도 수도 말해 다 던제다데 때나 남가기 직 던제나 말한주 두 라뱅 굴겨 게야데 남가 똥자 임비찬 던 아주 라뱅 굴겨 게야다 대속한가 그 똥자 매나 굴겨 게도 말와 똥자 여 인자 등 굴겨 게도 데 따바게 던지 바랬어 그거 알아 그 유매다 메르미도 와
Page 182. Moreover, these five objects are things. And here, you can see they are interpreted object of knowledge and thing as, interchangeable meaning. The definition of a thing is that which is able to perform a function. Existent object of knowledge and thing are mutually inclusive. That is whatever is the one is the other. And Uncompounded phenomena are considered to be permanent things, forms, consciousness, and non-associated compositional factors, which are neither form nor consciousness, are considered to be impermanent things. So here, when they say a functioning thing, for example, space or sky, space, they says that it is functioning, thing, because when we move our hand is able to move, in the sky because of the availability of the space. If there's no space, we can't move our hand. So therefore, kind of, the functionality, the function of space is, kind of providing, object to move around.
다들 누가지? 단 너희들 인지기 던지 세다 이 과때 말해. 너희들 인지기 던지라 랑기 디부 깨와라. 니바이기 디부인지미 니바이기라 던지 세세가 와. 단다디 던지사 마임바 디부 깨와 잠때 잔 던지 마임바 코백 거기 동 남가라 던지기 니바이어래. 가래요래 공가수 배 구겨게야다 때서 강가 남게 던지기가 쓰라고. 배나 두제겐도 수디에디가라 벌벌을 룽데 메나 에니베 너제나라 단다 디나 두제겐디그로와 두제겐디그 공부차되래. 두제겐디 공부차연데가라 고사둘 추둘 메둘 강가요래. 이나 두제게가 렉 찌디찔레베 투투요 말때 버들 룽요래 룽기 템버치기요래. 근데 가자시고래. 시라마오게 때서가 오니 세리다 tumbi kacheto pet samlun tan kachete shigiorwa.
And different school of thoughts is a different interpretation of what is functionality and the function itself. So this school, as said here, when it says that a functioning thing, for example, the space, because space provides to move hands and objects, but school higher than this one, beginning with the Sutra school, when they says a functioning thing, ability to perform function, they refers to the thing able to produce a result. That is what they mean when they say it's a functioning thing. Whatever object has to have ability to produce result. And according to this school, when they say that space is a functioning thing, every object, according to this school, is made from what we call 8 substances, and so when you look at for example this singing bowl, this object is made from it has all like elements, water, you said what are those 8 substances, right? He mentioned that before. And so according to this school, they also says that this singing bowl object itself also has a space element. When you go to the subtlest level of this object, the level of the substance at this subatomic level, these objects are totally not kind of touched to each other. There are spaces in between these atoms or whatever the smallest, and between those there are space that is also kind of part of the object itself. So this is how kind of they interpret, and it makes sort of sense, and especially when you think from a scientific point of view. So aggregate made from 8 elements or 8 substances is generally, the meaning or definition of Surapa. Meaning or definition of gross, level of form.
Ta Radela Dul Jago Mare Zudul Tidul Rodul Rechedul Jije Tela Joaji Dul Cane Dulziken Duade Teres.
So the 8 substances, the 8 substances, Geshe said he mentioned this before, 8 components also says, Sukta ti ro rekja. Sound, has no, sound, is interpreted as having no substances. Then other 4, and then on top of that you add 4 elements: earth, water, air, wind. So this is what when they say 8 substances refers to these 8.
What the dos chene kanche zurakpas mantha dulseketin ju war what the dos ani to ngobola ze zedugi kyapkyam ze ma kyapde ta ngobuina ta kanche yobaina ngobuina cheta mailula zisutu zeyo maim pajangor tunje nipa tamdam dembatang zeyo tunji kunzo dembatang tayi tunji dobjiris ta ti gala tamdam dembata kunzo demba ni kebarte chegu kodwa tamdam dembatang zeyo tunji kunzo dembata tayi tunji ta tamdam dembata zeyo tunji se tamdam dembata karja kore sheba kaji chamedang duljen choki chametesu tamdam demba ja kore Timayim bata il kunzatem basha. Dusre. Tindikala ta zitubina zisutu badala Pagi Nibatamoshi Dulin Choki Chameta, Chapakachi Chameta Jagoda.
Nembala. And page 183, all things are necessarily substantially established, but they are not necessarily substantially existent. So, you see here how they kind of interpret, kind of making difference between substantially established and substantially existent. This is so because they assert that ultimate truths and substantial existence are mutually inclusive, and that conventional truths and imputed existence are mutually inclusive. And here now, you see here kind of going on to the true truth. So the true truth, under the ultimate truth comes the Sheba keji chame.
Sheba tamu da chachiki mege. And chik durin choki chame.
Under the ultimate truth, they cite or use the example like partless, the partless, partlessness of consciousness, and directionlessness of atomic particles. So this comes under the ultimate truth. About the true truth, it will come actually later. It's the same.
But Pagi Tingi did that Tendi not on that be singing garden, Conso the bit singing carzana. That then by you singing the Jayon Gore. Singing it, Monica Chambora cannot lose Zoom to Nayabore. John Baum, Louis Cheshes Sawana, Ranzing London, which Chuzumi Pade. Kunzo de Betsingi. Senjini Zabum Tang Tenwatabu. Zabum Tujambana Zabunzama London Richard. 통화도 볼 소소 사와나 통화 좀 런더 위치 세디가라 군서 덴바기 진지당 군서 덴베 생태 작도 와 땡고네로 와 가서다 직코 분바존데 지나 토이 쳐다 코 분바 짐벨로데 때가네 시 바로와 코 분베 ngole de sarwa kumbe ngole de dikala dinjimbi lode ke midoa ta thangwa sedikala ko kubajila thangwen dobu yinde ginjila be yazage ina da kazo ina yinde ginjila thangwa sigora thangwa chesana thangwa dimbe lodo gudo thangwa pe thangwa chi dodo chi thangwa re lag marwa dodo ni thangwa re lag marwa thangwa phagi yadage yani yada chuchi kukaji te chandegi dindi sobachila thawase lagrmato thawaren re thawala gmarwa ti chesona chanjing londo kudo oda te indugala kuram kunso dembe chingi tela jaete dan dicho chinji jaete pen rabodo ta te nge goe ke chimbar hisi kadi yang tumda jenda kange lula ringi kebarten de jag mar de diga luchi pore Dini chombam leche sawana ranjingi londodo miro chuzumi pade donda de betsingi chenjini dulin chogi chameta shebakaji chame se wata tang dumaji ge namkalta buinde sebe tati gyatendela imbe kunde karna jole kangla kangla chonda leijena salatel minje bo punjuju to koze yetaten injino sebe zachavi chid to sutamba
yes. Page 183, reading the last section. There are divisions of objects into true truths and into contaminated and uncontaminated. Also, with regard to this discussion of objects, there is teaching of other ancillary topics. So, going on to the true truths, ultimate truth and conventional truth and ultimate truth. The definition of conventional truth is a phenomenon which is such that when it is broken up or mentally separated into individual parts, the awareness apprehending that object is cancelled. And Gajal said, these definitions are important, and so it's good if you can, have this memorized or at least understand the meaning. The example here, a clay pot and rosary are illustrations of conventional truths, because if a clay pot is broken with hammer, the awareness apprehending that object as a clay pot is cancelled. And if the beads of a rosary are separated, the awareness apprehending that object as a rosary is cancelled. So, you can see here how they define ultimate conventional truth. And this is kind of, we usually actually use our thought process, when we try to, understand the identity of the object. So the example here mentioned a clay pot. When the pot is over there, with its shape unbroken, from that shape and unbroken, complete, shape gives us the mental thought that this is a pot. The pot is here. But when you break it down into pieces, the object is no more there. So the object cannot generate, that concept in our mind. Same with the rosary. When we look at this, the mala all complete with 108 or 111, put together in a string, then we, when we saw that object helps us to, generate its name or whatever identity that it has, or there's a mala. But if you break it down, string and all separate beads, because of the separation or disintegration, and it doesn't generate the thought that it used to have, the mala, because so we don't call one or two beads a mala. When we say mala, it has to be string all put together. So again, same thing, if everything is scattered, it doesn't kind of generate, the name that it has in our mind. Our mind says that, there's no more mala there. So, but so this is the definition only of this, school, true truth. So as we go up higher, you will see the differences between how each individual school interpret, their own definition. And in your notes, you have a long notes here for the first truth. Then the next page 186, the definition of ultimate truth. The definition of ultimate truth is actually, if you know the conventional truth, it's kind of simple here. A phenomenon which is such that when it is broken up or mentally separated into individual parts, the consciousness apprehending that object is not cancelled. So, illustrations of ultimate truths are directionally partless particles, temporarily partless moments of consciousness, and uncompounded space. So these are the example of ultimate truth, although they are separated or scattered or disassembled, but your mind still kind of each individual parts gives you basically the same identity, not like the conventional truth.
Patindi indigala sheba keji chames sheba lapa shebi gimte digala sheba ani pe ta chachi gimege tati muye shebi duji di jagore zu ina zulchen choj chames de tapet zu gin duji di jane deli tar roya me insa ta ko tandam dem bares ko yo ame bare karazana kon zimbi lote pe 가서 랑징이 론 dortumiro wale dele ne pe ka thaji ta kun roya me insa ta ko din zimbi lote dele dortumia insa oda duschene tandam dem bares oda duschene 다 집하기 다르구나 십 가서 주 코란 타모임에 딘짐비 로데야 dortumia 딘짐비 체마데야 dortumia 오다 두스자고 오다 딘디 인디갈라 오다 디즈던난데 바체 아니 데나 군조 뎀바당 군조 뎀바남 던담도 마뚝짱 덴뚝던데 던담도 다 좋아 잡음당 아니 다 주라파 이나이 셰바이네 라파이나다 디지기데 던담도 두비엄마 던담이나 코란진 벨로데 dortumiro 차시 세용도가 dortumiro 오고라 다디 라파티기데 차시 세용도가 딘진 벨로데 dor두고라 딘니민은 dor인데 던담도 두비엄마 던담도 마뚝짱 온장 렘버투바레스 일코랑원에 렘버투바 두디어 일코랑원에 메나 잠시긴 루자디어 그때 인디가라 던담도 마뚝짱 렘버투바레스 와이 귀전데
the example illustrations of the ultimate truth directionally partless particles and temporarily partless moments of consciousness. So the consciousness, moments of consciousness, partless particles. When you divided this into, for this kind of extent until to the subtlest point, you still have that same kind of, it still kind of generates the same, this is still consciousness, unlike the conventional things, and this is still partless, particles, and it also, maintain the mind, the valid cognitive mind that kind of says that this is, consciousness, even if you divide consciousness into kind of subtlest, smallest, or for 186.4, Vasubandhu's Treasury of Manifest Knowledge says, so this is a quote from this Vasubandhu's text about the true truth. Page 187 says, a thing which is such that if broken or mentally separated into others, that is parts, and awareness of it no longer operates, such as a pot or water is conventionally existent, all others are ultimately existent. Therefore, it is asserted that conventional truths are not ultimately established, although they are truly established. So they differentiate between ultimate established and truly established. This is because this system asserts that all things are necessarily truly established. So they are not ultimately established, because like a pod, rough level of consciousness, as said before, if you make into a if you disintegrate or disassemble, the mind that grabs that, furthermore, it doesn't exist to cancel out that mind. But they said, they are truly established phenomena, because they exist from its own side or objective side.
유진들라 루운디라 ngobola dendukin debichese luundi sidi chama luundila ngobo ina denduki kyaba kilingirisi te inzanga ani tondando matu kyang dembatu banto guresi tati yusende de kubudo.
And as just read, this is because this system asserts that all things are necessarily truly established. So you can start reading kind of backwards, and because of this, then it is asserted that conventional truths are ultimately established, and they are truly ultimately established, not ultimately established, but truly established. Yes. After the break, we will move on to the contaminated and uncontaminated phenomena according to this school. So we will have a break and tea.